The citizens of the great state of Maryland, especially those of us from emergency services and public safety, are proud, humbled, honored, and privileged that Emmitsburg, Maryland, is home to the National Fallen Firefighters Memorial. Likewise, the citizens of the Commonwealth of Virginia, especially those from Virginia's emergency services and public safety, are proud, humbled, honored, and privileged that Arlington, Virginia, is now home to the National EMS Memorial Tree of Life. But this presentation is not about a national memorial. This presentation is about a Maryland memorial. By definition, a memorial is designed and built as lasting evidence in remembrance, to commemorate, to honor. A definition that perfectly describes the Maryland Fire Rescue Services Memorial, located prominently on Calvert Street in Annapolis, constructed of brick, mortar, and bronze, and embraced by living gardens of flowers, shrubs, and trees. A living memorial, designed and built to honor and remember volunteer and career men and women from Maryland's fire, EMS, rescue, and MSP aviation services, whose lives were lost while serving the citizens of Maryland. A memorial dedicated to the memories of our fallen heroes. The need for a Maryland memorial honoring those from public safety and emergency services whose lives were lost while serving the citizens of Maryland had been placed on the heart of the late J. Donald Mooney, Chief Emeritus of the Lansdowne Volunteer Fire Company. This need quickly became Chief Mooney's dream. However, he had no intention of just dreaming about it. He was determined to get it built. Chief Mooney began to freely and frequently share his dream with others through the great state of Maryland. He was a promoter, he was an advocate, and most importantly, he was the leader. He promoted awareness, and people became interested in the memorial project concept. He was an advocate for the memorial. He passionately, tirelessly, persistently, and successfully awakened, inspired, educated, and convinced the minds of many throughout Maryland that such a memorial was needed, and people got on board with the project. He was a leader, and he brought together a diverse team of multi-talented individuals who shared his dream of getting the memorial built. An all-volunteer team made up of dedicated men and women from throughout the state, representing multiple state agencies, career and volunteer fire departments, MSP, IAFF locals, National Fallen Firefighters Foundation, Maryland State Firemen's Association, Ladies Auxiliary to the Maryland State Firemen's Association, various other entities, affiliations, organizations, survivors of LODD heroes, friends, and supporters. In 1997, this all-volunteer team officially became the Maryland Fire Rescue Services Memorial Foundation, a nonprofit organization whose purpose and mission to design, construct, and maintain a unique living memorial dedicated to the members of Maryland's fire, rescue, and emergency medical community who have given their lives in the performance of their duties. They knew the Foundation's purpose, they knew the Foundation's mission, and with Don Mooney leading the way as the Foundation's president and chairman of the board, they rolled up their sleeves and they got to work. News of the Foundation and its mission spread, and more people got involved. Over the next 8 years, Chairman of the Board Mooney and the members of the Foundation continued as promoters and advocates and would invest countless hours researching, planning, preparing, hiring, acquiring, and eventually fundraising for this dream they all shared. They researched and found an available parcel of land prominently located in the state capitol on which to build the memorial. They researched for a skilled architectural professional, and the Foundation knew it had been blessed with the 11th hour arrival of a talented and generous Maryland architect by the name of Paul Edmeades. They researched internationally for an artist, and they chose and commissioned the accomplished, inspired, and nationally renowned Maryland artist and sculptor, Rodney Carroll. They researched and attained Maryland contracting companies for construction, excavating, landscaping, and building needs. It was now 2003, 2004. Those first years of promoting, advocating, researching, and fundraising had been moderately successful, and they finally knew where the memorial would be built, who would build the memorial, what the memorial would look like, and they also knew that the cost to design and construct the memorial was projected to be over $500,000, and they needed funds. So, the chairman of the board and the members of the Maryland Fire Rescue Services Memorial Foundation cranked it up as promoters, advocates, and fundraisers for the memorial project and spread the word that funds were needed. Groundbreaking ceremonies were held on September 11, 2005, and 9 action-packed months later, the memorial had been built, it was ready to be dedicated, and all debts had been paid in full. Dedication Day was held on Sunday, June 11, 2006. It was a day of celebration, filled with pomp and circumstance, and rich with fire department history. It was a day to celebrate teamwork, accomplishment, and achievement. It was a day of reflection and remembrance, a day of honor and privilege, a day to laud heroes and be thankful. On that day, as witnessed by the many hundreds in attendance, that Foundation President and Chairman of the Board, J. Donald Mooney, officially dedicated the Maryland Fire Rescue Services Memorial to the members of Maryland's fire, rescue, and emergency medical community who had given their lives in the performance of their duties. During his dedication speech, Don rightfully and sincerely thanked all who made that day possible, especially his loyal and dedicated Foundation team members and everyone who helped make his dream a reality. He went on to say, and I paraphrase, "But today is not about us. Today is a celebration to honor the lives and sacrifice of the men and women whose names are inscribed on the Wall of Honor. They were mothers and fathers, husbands and wives, sisters, brothers, neighbors and friends, fellow workers, both career and volunteer fire and EMS personnel. They all had one thing in common. They gave their lives doing what they loved to do, helping other people." It is our hope that the surviving families of our fallen will have Memorial Park as a place to come and seek a bit of rest and reconnection with their loved one, and know that each of them is remembered and will always be. He concluded his dedication speech with the following, and I quote, "Today is not an end, but the beginning of a new era. We are now obligated not only to maintain this magnificent memorial site, but to enhance it in the coming years, and to gather here once a year, hopefully not to add names, but to continue to remember those whose names are inscribed here."
While loss and grief are deeply personal experiences, my family shares the bond with other Maryland families, including those who will be honored today, who have lost someone in the line of duty. In the past 2 years, many opened their hearts to us, offering advice and sharing their personal stories as a way to help us heal and find our new normal.
It has been 10 years since our dedication back in 2006. I stopped to think about what does that word anniversary mean? And it's to commemorate a special day. The gift of choice was something made of tin or aluminum. Well, we do not have that here today. What we do have are bricks, mortar, and bronze. Lasting materials to last a lifetime. In a few minutes, we will be asking our family members to uncover the nameplates of our fallen. A tribute that will be here forever, and this is our responsibility to you.
There had been placed on the heart of one man a need. This need quickly became his dream, and he freely shared his dream with others, and soon it was a dream shared by many. And in 1997, these many dreamers became the Maryland Fire Rescue Services Memorial Foundation, and that one man was made their leader, and together they worked and they worked and they worked until their shared dream became a reality on June 11, 2006. A memorial constructed of brick, mortar, and bronze, embraced by living flowers, trees, and shrubs, a living memorial designed, built, and dedicated to men and women from Maryland's fire rescue and emergency medical community whose lives were lost while serving the citizens of Maryland. Don Mooney continued as the Foundation's president and chairman of the board until the Lord called him home on July 10, 2008. At the August 2008 meeting of the Maryland Fire Rescue Services Memorial Foundation, with unanimous consent, for the record and forevermore, the Foundation declared J. Donald Mooney, chairman of the board, emeritus. Maryland General Provisions Code 7-409. Proclamation. The Governor, annually, shall proclaim the first Sunday in June as the day to honor the fire, rescue, and emergency services workers of the state who have made the ultimate sacrifice in the performance of their duties. The first Sunday in June, there is a service held at the Maryland Fire Rescue Services Memorial in Annapolis, a memorial service where we once again have the privilege to pay our respects, to honor, and to remember our heroes, those named on the Wall of Honor. It is also during this June memorial service that the newest of Maryland heroes are honored and remembered, as the plaque bearing the hero's name is unveiled on the Wall of Honor. Sadly, since the memorial was dedicated in June of 2006, 26 individual plaques bearing the names of 26 Maryland heroes have been added to the Wall of Honor. The mission: to design, construct, and maintain a unique living memorial. When the Maryland Fire Rescue Services Memorial was dedicated on June 11, 2006, the $500,000 it cost to design and construct the memorial had been paid in full. As Chief Mooney wrote in his 2006 special thanks, and I quote, "The vision of the Foundation could not have been realized without the assistance, generosity, and dedication of numerous exceptionally talented individuals, local unions, corporations, fire companies, auxiliaries, appointed and elected government officials, and agencies." End quote. Paid in full, due to strong leadership, dedication, loyalty, commitment, hard work, perseverance, and staying mission-focused. Paid in full, due to a $200,000 grant from our elected officials in Annapolis, many successful fundraisers, and due to the generosity of fire companies, fire departments, agencies, affiliations, organizations, service clubs, local unions, and individual contributors from throughout the state. Since the 2006 dedication, maintaining the memorial and Memorial Park cost on average $39,000 annually. So each year the Foundation must raise, by holding fundraisers and receiving generous donations, a minimum of $39,000 to cover the cost of perpetual care and maintenance of the actual memorial, maintenance and landscaping contracts for Memorial Park, monthly utility bills for Memorial Park, and to have the necessary funds to host the annual memorial service each June. The Maryland Fire Rescue Services Memorial Foundation, Incorporated, is a tax-exempt, nonprofit, 501c3 organization. Annual fundraisers include memorial bricks, purchase a memorial brick in honor or memory of a loved one, or purchase a memorial brick in recognition of your organization's support of the Maryland Fire Rescue Services Memorial. Purchase memorial challenge coins. In June, during the Maryland State Firemen's Association Convention in Ocean City, Sunday evening, Fishtails fundraiser with firefighters, pipe and drums, courtesy of Miss Jane Harmon, owner of Fishtails. Tuesday evening, Fill the Boot on the Boardwalk fundraiser, in conjunction with the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation. Each September, the Foundation hosts the annual gala celebration and silent auction fundraiser honoring our Maryland fallen firefighters and rescue personnel who have made the ultimate sacrifice. The Maryland Fire Rescue Services Memorial includes a wall of honor, which is made of brick and mortar, and on which are displayed, in chronological order, individual plaques made of bronze and bearing the name of each hero and the date of their line of duty death. In April 2016, an idea to honor Maryland's LODD heroes was in the project design phase. The idea was to create a transportable modified version of the memorial's Wall of Honor that would debut at the 2016 Maryland State Firemen's Association convention. Instead of displaying the LODD plaques chronologically, the modified Wall of Honor reproduction would display the official seal of each of Maryland's 23 counties, Baltimore City, and MSP Aviation. Displayed beneath each seal would be the appropriate individual bronze replicated LODD plaques, each bearing the name of the hero, the date of their line of duty death, and an actual picture or likeness of the hero. The transportable Wall of Honor would be displayed at appropriate functions throughout the state of Maryland, and our Maryland line of duty death heroes would be honored and remembered as more people became aware of them and their sacrifice. Initially, it was thought that a picture of each hero could be obtained from the line of duty death directory. However, this was not to be the case, and so another project was born. Finding a Face for a Hero. The Maryland Fire Rescue Services Memorial Foundation has a website that includes an LODD directory. The directory has individual profiles for each of Maryland's fire, EMS, and aviation line of duty death heroes, beginning with Maryland's first recorded fire department line of duty death, Frederick County's William Carlton, Junior Fire Company No. 2, line of duty death December 22, 1840. The line of duty death profile includes name, date of death, affiliation, a brief narrative regarding the circumstances of the line of duty death, and there is also a space for a photograph of the hero. Currently, the LODD directory is under construction, being updated and revised, because some months ago it was realized that out of the 410 Maryland LODD profiles, 170 profiles had pictures of the heroes, 240 profiles had no pictures of heroes. None of Baltimore City Fire Department's 165 profiles had pictures, and the remaining 75 plus profiles missing pictures were from various fire departments and fire companies throughout the state of Maryland. And so it began. April 2016, Line of Duty Death Directory Project, Phase 1, Finding a Face for a Hero. The search is on, and the search will continue, and it is our most earnest hope that someday there will be a picture of each line of duty death hero to be displayed alongside their name. Until then, if a picture of the hero has yet to be located, then displayed alongside their name will be a picture of the hero's actual helmet, a picture of the hero's badge or appropriate collar pins, or a picture representing the hero's fire company or fire department. So far, out of the 240 originally missing, and thanks to the help of many, more than 50 pictures of heroes have been recovered and are appropriately displayed alongside their name, including a picture of Baltimore City Fire Department's first recorded line of duty death, Charles Bertram, line of duty death October 29, 1866. Eventually, all these pictures, along with complete individual narratives, will become part of the updated and revised online LODD directory and can be accessed and viewed via the Maryland Fire Rescue Services Memorial Foundation's website. Until then, and thanks to the help of many, in honor and in memory of volunteer and career men and women from Maryland's fire, EMS, rescue, and MSP aviation services whose lives were lost while serving the citizens of Maryland, there has been created a transportable modified reproduction of the Maryland Fire Rescue Services Memorial Wall of Honor, which displays the official seal of each of Maryland's 23 counties, Baltimore City, and MSP Aviation, and beneath each seal are replicated individual plaques made of bronze, appropriately and honorably displayed, and each bearing the name affiliation, and date of death of a Maryland hero, and displayed alongside each hero's name is a picture.